Hello, folks. Welcome to another edition of the Sports Report. Gary Patterson and I are here to answer all your questions. Well, we're not going to answer any questions, but we're here to talk about sports, and we're going to get right at it. Not
Good
much
deal.
of an introduction today. We got a lot of things we got to get caught up on. Yeah. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on football, but I think there's one or two stories that we really should talk about. First of all, I was looking at Bovada, B-O-V-A-D-A website. They're a gambling house out in Las Vegas, and they post the odds. Guess who the favorite is to win the Super Bowl in 2017?
Yeah, team right down the street, I bet.
Guys right over there on Route 1, the Patriots. So look, if you know somebody going out to Las Vegas, you give them $100, they'll get you a ticket. If the Patriots win it all, you win $750. That's the odds, $750. And with the understanding you've got to put up 100 to get the $750.
Right.
The Steelers are second at 900. Broncos are at 900. That may slip, however. They don't have a quarterback.
Yeah, you need a quarterback. They may want to take another look at that one.
Yeah. The Seahawks are 1,000. Green Bay is 1,000. The sun is setting on Green Bay, though.
Yeah.
They are digressing as opposed to progressing.
Yeah, maybe Seattle as well.
You know, Aaron Rodgers is a great quarterback. But, man, you got to have some help out there.
Yeah.
And then the Panthers, that's quite a drop down from being in the Super Bowl. They're down to 1,000. The Cowboys and the Cardinals come in next at 1,600.
1,600.
1,600. Now, one thing.
I might like the Cardinals at 1,600.
Yeah.
Right? Certainly more than I would like the Broncos at third.
And a hell of a lot better than I'd like the Cowboys, too.
Yeah.
You know, they just operated on, what's his face, the quarterback there, yesterday or the day before, and repaired his collarbone again.
Yeah, Tony Romo.
Yeah.
He's getting up there, too.
36, 37 years old.
And injury and mistake prone.
Both.
Right.
Yes, indeed. And the Panthers, for a Super Bowl team, are flawed.
Yeah.
I mean, they got an offensive line that, whoa, boy, were they ever exposed.
Yeah. But, if they're well managed, and they should be able to fill some holes.
You'd think, yeah.
Goes back to the quarterback. How does Cam bounce back?
Right? Yeah, he's a young kid. He's going to bounce back.
He should be okay,
He's
but
he's going to come back. And that whole thing he pulled, the snit after the game.
Yeah.
He's a popular kid. Young guy. First time, center stage.
Right.
And he flopped.
Right.
And he really took it to heart. You know how it feels when you get kicked in the belly?
Yeah.
But
a young kid, but apologize and move on.
And I thought the next day and the day after he did a poor job of apologizing.
Right.
If you're going to be the leader of men, you've got to be able to state your position a little more clearly than he did.
Yeah.
I didn't think he did a good job at all. The Seahawks are a mystery. I don't think Pete Carroll is deep as far as a quarterback, as far as a coach is concerned.
Yeah. They're an interesting team, though. They still have some impact players.
They do.
They're getting up there. They're not as deep as they used to be.
Yep.
But
yeah, because when you are successful and contracts come due, other people overpay to get guys from you.
Yeah.
Not knowing that the guy's not a standalone guy. He has to rely on his teammates.
Right.
And so as a result,
I think one of the keys for them is actually getting home field in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And can they do it? Their division is getting tougher.
Cardinals are playing well.
But they're on top right now.
Yeah.
But for them, getting home field in the playoffs, huge.
Yeah. I just don't see the Steelers as runner-up to the Patriots. Number 2, 900.
Yeah, well,
sure, I see that.
Big Ben and those wide receivers, right?
Yeah,
and that they always put a competitive defense on the field. Some years it's great, some years it's okay, but it's always competitive, right? And they're an explosive offense.
Yeah,
it's not the steel curtain days anymore. It's now almost the flying Cardinals, but
we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
So, I guess the question I have is this parity or is it mediocrity?
Well, I think it's. I don't think it's really mediocrity. I mean, realistically, you got 4 or 5 teams that can win, and the way the NFL works, with injuries,
an injury or two, and bingo,
things can happen.
Yep. Some thoughts on Peyton Manning?
Yeah,
he's retired,
as he should be.
Yeah. If I had neck fusion, and they said, if you break that thing again, you could be in a wheelchair for the rest of your life. I don't think I'd be out there.
No.
Not with the kind of money he's put away.
No. Hey, he had a great career. I've always liked Peyton Manning, actually.
He's a good old boy.
Yeah.
You can see sitting on the back of a pickup truck drinking Budweisers with him.
Right.
Not with Brady.
Now, some of the facade around him is starting to fall. And, you see the stories that the real Peyton Manning is quite a bit different than the public image, and that they work very hard on that public image.
Yeah.
And some things are coming out, right? So it's unfortunate, but it's the world we live in.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. And, I think it might have been my grandfather who once told me, don't believe anything you hear and only half of what you see. So, you wonder about some of that stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, look, certainly Ben Roethlisberger has got skeletons in the closet all over the place. Yep. But you're right. It's the times we live in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's the media we live in too, right? I mean, football has been legendary for some of the while. Sonny Jurgensen in his day, right? Some of the stories about Sonny Jurgensen. If he was today and was pulling that stuff, it would be
he was a piece of work.
He'd be talking to Goodell all the time.
How about Ken Stabler?
Ken Stabler. That's right.
They were
Joe Namath.
Oh, Joe.
Yeah.
Joe Namath though is a pretty good-hearted guy.
Yeah.
He comes from the Mon Valley there, where they build linebackers and quarterbacks.
Yeah.
And Joe Montana.
Western Pennsylvania.
Yeah. Miami Dolphins quarterback.
Not Greasy, no.
The one before Greasy. Marino.
Oh, Marino, right. Western, yeah.
I had a friend of mine. He was a great guy. Dropped dead of a heart attack at the age of 41 going down his front steps. He was a salesman for my rep out there. And a good-hearted guy. And they had a fundraiser for one of their ex-football stars in high school who came down with some terrible disease. And him and his family and blah, blah, blah. So all the jocks and the sports guys got together and said, let's really have a fundraiser for him. So they wrote to all 3 of the quarterbacks. What do you suppose the response was from those 3?
I know what I'd like it to be, but I suspect it's a little different, huh?
Joe Namath said, I'll be there.
Glad to hear that. I always liked that guy.
And when he arrived, he whipped out a check, and all my friend told me was a big check.
Really? Good for him.
And all kinds of memorabilia to raffle off.
To raffle off?
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
Now, which of the other 2 One came and was really good, and the other one wrote a letter and said, I'll refer to you to my manager. He'll be in contact with you. And the manager contacted him and said $10,000 plus expenses. And he'll
Whoa. No kidding. And who was that?
Marino. Montana was there, just as good as gold, and did the same thing, wrote out a big check.
Wow. That's Dan.
Interesting.
You know, Dan had has had financial problems in recent years because he had made a significant investment in a startup company that tanked.
Ooh.
I remember reading about it online, and he literally lost millions. So
Shades of Kurt Schilling.
yeah, shades of Kurt Schilling is right. Yeah.
How can you have the amount of money that Kurt had, tucked away in the bank conservatively, and then let it all hang out and plow it into something like that?
Yeah.
Woof! Logan Mankins retired.
Logan Mankins retired. Yeah, good career. Tough guy.
The only thing I can tell you about him is he was very friendly, and he had thighs on him that looked like oak trees.
Yeah.
I would, when I retired and being a security guard down in Norwood at the hotel, they'd come over Saturday night before the game, all the Patriots and Belichick, and they'd have a buffet supper and go over the game plan and all that, and then go to sleep. No going out on the town.
Right.
And most of the guys were okay. As they come in, you know, I'd have the duty to have the side parking lot. The only players could go in there. Two guys, Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. You want to talk about the world of opposites? Brady, how are you tonight, sir? It's okay if I park right there? Yeah, we're holding that spot for you, Tom. Oh, you didn't have to do that.
No kidding.
Spot beside it is Belichick's. And they said if anybody parked in Belichick's spot, you might just go someplace and die because he's going to kill you. And he come in with a look on his face, wouldn't speak to you, nothing.
Yeah.
Logan Mankins.
Had his game face on, huh?
Oh. Logan Mankins, very friendly guy.
Yeah.
Very friendly
That's
guy.
good. Seems like it. Good old country boy.
He
right?
is. Now, this is going to come as a big surprise to you, but guess what he drove?
Oh, he had to have maybe a Range Rover.
Very close. An F-350.
An F-350.
King Ranch diesel.
Nice. Yeah.
But what a nice guy. So, all the best of luck to you, partner.
Yeah, one of my favorite quotes regarding him was from Matt Light, who said, if I had to pick one person in the world to be back-to-back with in a barroom brawl, give me Logan Mankins.
I asked Steve Nelson that exact question.
Did you?
Yep. He said, there's two guys. He said, John Hannah is the toughest guy I've ever seen. If you said, John, put your head down, go through that brick wall, he'd try it.
Yeah.
And chances are he'd knock it down.
If he didn't, he'd back up and do it again.
And the other one was Andre Tippett.
Yeah, I bet.
Boy, you ever want to go down a dark alley? He said, I would not go down a dark alley at night unless Tippett was with me.
Plus he's black belt or something.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
And Nellie said, those are two tough dudes.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I would not mess with Tippett.
No. Mr. Tippett.
Even in my younger days, Mr. Tippett.
He might come in tonight.
Yeah. Mr. Tippett, sir.
Mr. Tippett, sir. Well, sir, it's spring training time.
It is spring training. The snow has melted.
And all is now good with the world.
Yeah, you bet.
The Red Sox are down there, and God only knows what's happening down there. I've got to read you a quote from either this morning's or yesterday's paper.
Okay.
You know, I really think John Farrell lost something when he was out He needs elocution lessons or communication lessons or something. After watching the Red Sox defense, particularly the infield, cough up too many balls and look sloppy in the last couple of games, John Farrell said the club needs to improve.
Wow, okay, yeah.
We know we're capable of better, and we're working to do just that. That's our daily work, to get better daily, and we've got to continue at that. Hanley Ramirez has put the work he's put in, but this was good. Poor throws from shortstop Xander Bogaerts and third baseman Pedro Sandoval have not been scooped with any proficiency by Ramirez.
Yeah.
On Monday, Farrell pointed out that Sandoval has work to be done on his range, first step, and glove positioning. We're going through daily works to get him up to speed. Hanley's exposure to first has gone as anticipated, largely in part because of the way he's worked, and that's a compliment to him. But still, like we said, we're far from a finished product, and in these coming weeks, it's a focal point for us. Now, one of the guys on the radio, and I think it's Lou Maloney, is down there, and he has been going early mornings trying to catch Ramirez having extra infield practice.
Right.
Never has happened.
Right.
So they're covering up for the guy. But Sandoval has been in the majors for how long? 5 or 6 years?
Yeah, he's a real problem. He looks awful.
And he has to he has to work on his range, first step, and glove positioning.
Oh, is that all?
And he's a major league third baseman, and they're back to rudiments with him.
Who has been an adequate third baseman in the past. But perhaps the extra 30 pounds around the midsection isn't helping.
Well, a lot more than an extra 30.
Probably is.
Yeah.
It's probably more like, yeah.
I mean, at 5'11", even a muscular guy, 225 tops.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy is not muscle bound. He's just enormous. I've read comments like 260, 270.
Yeah.
How can you be agile
at
that?
So far, it's very early in spring training, but
Yep.
he hasn't hit. He's looked terrible in the field. He can't even bend over to get the balls. Once the season gets here, they're going to start bunting on him. Bunt on the guy. If you got a top of the order guy, why don't you go ahead and bunt on him.
Drop it.
He's never going to get there.
Because and also, if you don't bunt, but you are a threat to bunt, he's going to be in on the grass anyway, so they can pound the ball by him.
Right. So, at some point they're going to have to make a decision on this guy because they obviously made a major mistake with both of them.
2 mistakes, yeah.
And they made 2 mistakes. But, I think at some point they need to consider releasing this guy. Make a statement that, you need to be professional if you're going to play here. And, yeah, we got to eat. It's probably going to be $60 or $70 million.
Well, Sandoval was 95 and Ramirez was 88.
Right.
Yeah. So maybe they already have. Maybe they've called the agents in and said, "What will you work with us on a buyout?"
Right.
Yeah. We owe Ramirez 66. How about 40 and in your hand?
They'll never do it. They don't have to do it.
No, they don't. You're absolutely
he's
right.
got guaranteed money. And, you do that when you think you're going to go back into the market and get somebody else to give you close money. Somebody will sign him, but they're not paying him $18 million a year.
No.
They might pay him $3 million with some incentives that could get him to 7 or 8.
That's exactly
and the first incentive will be lose 50 pounds. Right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, I don't know what to say. It's
and Ramirez has such a sour personality. He's burned every bridge behind him. Nobody wants him.
Right.
Sandoval is just slap happy.
But I think of the two, I think they're both bad deals. They're both guys you'd love to get rid of. It's going to be very hard to get rid of both of them. And at some point, you may have an option of trading Ramirez. It might, if he comes out and hits a little bit this year.
Do you think?
And his contract gets shorter, But Sandoval, I think you got to get rid of him.
If you went to one of the wealthy franchises and said, Sandoval, Ramirez, Henry Owens, and a nice prospect from Double-A for some prospect of yours. Just take them.
Well,
could you buy somebody into paying the salary for those guys?
Well,
if you juiced it up.
The part you left out is how much money are we kicking in?
Yeah,
you got to cover some of it. If you can say to them, we're going to eat $8 million a year on Sandoval, so you got to pay Sandoval $10 million, right? Maybe you find someone, or you're going to pay Ramirez. You're only going to pay Ramirez $8 or $10 million for the rest of his contract. We're going to pay the rest.
How about if you said, I'll pay for one if you just take them both?
Yeah. See, I think Ramirez, depending on how he does. I mean, I think this is a trade that could, as you approach June or July, could you make it? It all depends on how he does in April and May. I mean,
if you could find somebody. Oh, so let's just say to ourselves, Major League Baseball's decided that next year the National League will have a DH.
Right.
Well, you could probably peddle Ramirez. That's what he is. He was born to be a DH.
Right.
Yeah.
But people don't pay DHs what they're going to.
No, they don't.
We're paying them. So you're going to have to eat at least half. But if you eat half his contract, it's $10 million to the Red Sox. What is that? It's chump change.
Beans.
Right.
Like you and I going to McDonald's and spending $8.
John Henry would rather pay the $10 million than have to hear all for the next 2 or 3 years about how stupid they were in that offseason, quite frankly, right? With the two signings that just, it was two terrible signings.
John Henry approved those trades. He appointed Charrington as the general manager. He allowed John Lester to walk.
Right.
And now he has just canned the distribution of the company that was delivering the globes.
Right.
And he's gone back to the other guy. I mean, would you really and truly do business with a guy with a feather head like that?
Well, yeah. At the baseball level, though, you're dealing with Dombrowski now, right? And yes, Henry's absolutely signing the checks and still approving the money. But if you go to John Henry and say, we got a way to move Pablo Sandoval, but we've got to cover $10 million a year on the rest of his contract, but he is out of here, and Travis Shaw is now our third baseman, and you don't have to hear about how fat he is anymore, then yes, I think John Henry would be fine with it.
I think he'd be all over that. Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah. If they get rid of those two guys, I'm willing to buy off on the Red Sox. By the way, folks, we've got the odds from Bovada on baseball. And guess who they picked to win the American League pennant? The Boston Red Sox.
Wow.
Now, it's the same deal. You put up 100 to win 550 on the Red Sox, 600 on the Blue Jays, 600 on the Royals, 700 on Houston, 800 on Cleveland, and 900 on the Rangers.
I find interesting
the name
that's not on that list is the Yankees.
Oh, the Yankees?
Not even on the list.
That's right.
Huh.
They are not on the expanded list either to win the World Series.
Breaks my heart.
The Chicago Cubs are the big favorites to win the World Series.
Yeah.
Got to put up 100 to make 400 on that. San Francisco Giants are second at 800. The Mets third at 1,100. The Royals fourth at 1,400, and the Red Sox are tied for fourth. Well, the Royals at 1,400. That's saying that if you look at just the American League pennant, 550 to 6 versus the Red Sox versus the Royals. We're saying the Red Sox are a better team than the Royals?
You know, they could be, depending on how things work out. You know, if the pitching, you know, they made a lot of moves to improve their pitching. They have improved their pitching. They've improved their bullpen and bringing in Price as the anchor.
And
you know, and we talked at the end of the season, and you asked me who did I like number one in free agency, and I said Price at the time.
Absolutely.
So I love that guy. It's a great move. You're paying through the nose.
We are, indeed.
When you could have paid less, and you didn't. But you're fixing your mistake, so be it. It's John Henry's money, not mine.
That's right. It's monopoly money. The over-under.
Yes.
Feel like wagering a few bucks on that?
It depends.
86.5 for the Red Sox. Wins. 86.5. If you take the under, it's even money. Bet 100 to make 100. If you take the over, you got to put up 130 to make 100.
If you take the over. I was going to say because...
So that's where they're leaning.
Absolutely, because it's inconsistent with, you said that that the Red Sox are favored to win the pennant,
but still,
which means you have to get in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And so getting in the playoffs at 87 wins is questionable.
It sure is.
You might not even make the playoffs. And that's what the over-under is, 86.5. So that's kind of...
Well, I'll tell you.
But it's interesting that the odds kind of smooth that.
That's right.
You got to bet
These guys out here know what the hell they're doing. When I looked at that, excuse me, I looked at that and I looked at that for about 5 different times to make sure I was seeing it.
Because my immediate reaction is over.
Yeah.
Thinking 88, 89, 90.
I think they're going to do that.
Right?
Yeah.
Because, you know, they really have improved their pitching.
They have.
And Ramirez and... You know, they got the problem at the corner infields, but they got Travis Shaw around. You can always fix that if you have to.
Shaw's knocking the ball around.
He's knocking the ball
around.
around.
Spring training is not the regular season. However.
No, but he looked good last year.
He looked very good last year. Yeah.
So it's not like you don't have somebody to try.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And to play. So
they got a kid, too, that'll be down in AAA down in Pawtucket. Sam Travis. Mm-hmm. Line drive hitter. First base, left fielder kind of guy.
Yeah.
And they say that, you know, right now he's line drive hitter. He's going to do a little bit. They're 15 to 20 home runs kind of guy. But hits the ball hard.
Right.
300 type hitter. So they got him. And they've got the outfielder that they're huge on, Bientendo or whatever his name is.
Yeah.
They got him, and they got him in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. Yeah, they love that kid.
Yeah. And he really came on too defensively. They didn't really think he was that great defensively, but boy, they love the hell out of him now.
Yeah, you get that kid developed and you stick him out there with Jackie Bradley Jr. or Mookie. You've got one of the best defense. You probably have the best defensive outfield in baseball. Period. Right.
Now, let me tell you. Well, a couple of names here to talk about.
Okay.
Eduardo Rodriguez in a partially dislocated kneecap that is still swollen.
Right. Take your time.
That is not a recipe for success.
No, but I'm not sure it's the end of the world injury too, right? It's rest. So the kid's young. You know, I had read articles earlier that they were talking about, well, you know, we got to watch his innings this year because he's still a developmental player, and, you know, we want to keep him under a threshold, which I think was less than 200 innings. And so it's like, okay, well, you know what? I look at it and say, if the kid needs a month, give him a month. Bring him back in May.
I just hope that this isn't more serious than what we've been told.
Yeah, well, you don't know, but...
The panda bear problem We've talked about that.
Yeah, it's an issue.
The saga of the Pawtucket Red Sox.
In terms
Apparently, that's all done.
Yeah.
Because they backed off on any plans right now to move the team. They're not exploring anything.
Good.
They're working with the city of Pawtucket and talking about what the future is.
For McCoy.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yep. Speaking of that, I have some tickets. I'm going to take you down there
sometime. Oh, good. Sounds like fun.
Yep. Jerry Remy will do at least 100 games with the Eck. And
with the Eck filling in the rest?
Yep. And
I'm an Eck fan, actually. I actually prefer the Eck.
I love Eck.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Psycho. Now, I can do without him. But I do enjoy the Eck. And they're going to try some 3 in the booth stuff.
Oh, are they? Yeah.
Jerry, Eck, and the new play-by-play announcer.
Yeah.
3 or 4 major print outlets, USA Today, Sports Weekly, Baseball America, The Sporting News, among them, are calling for the Red Sox to go last to first.
Uh-huh.
I'm telling you, it's a groundswell.
I believe it.
Yeah.
You know, it's all about pitching, right? You look at those odds that you read earlier. All those teams have, premier pitching.
Yep.
And the question is, do we have premier pitching? We think we have a premier stopper, in number 1 ace, right? And what do we have behind him? Who steps up?
Koji?
Well, look at the rotation, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you got Buck Holtz. We all know what Buck Holtz is.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Right? And Eduardo Rodriguez is a very important name, right? What's he going to do? I personally have hope that, Porcello is capable of coming back and winning 15 games for you with an ERA in around 4 somewhere. And Joe Kelly.
And Stephen Wright.
Right.
And Henry Owens.
So do a couple of those guys step up. If you have a couple of those guys who step up and have maybe not even career years, but above average years for them, 2 out of 5, coupled now with Price, you've really got something. Yeah. And you do have offense. And you got Ramirez and you got Sandoval to deal with. But you've got some other really good players.
You really do. Mookie Betts. We're going to be talking about Mookie Betts in the superstar cap. Damn close to being a superstar, Mookie Betts.
Right. I mean, the player that I hope they manage to keep him on the field all year is Pedroia. Pedroia never wants to sit down.
No.
But he needs to sit down. And he needs to.
It's not as though we don't have somebody to cover for him. Little Holt can play second base.
Absolutely.
I mean, gee whiz.
You're absolutely right. So, we need to keep Pedroia on the field.
Yeah, absolutely. No, there's no question about that. No question at all.
We've got a surplus of catching talent.
Well, now let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Though, going into spring training, I thought the Red Sox really were committed to making Christian Vasquez the number 1. But they wanted to make sure his arm was all right, but they kept couching it that way. Dombrowski had a little press conference, and he said, Swihart is our number 1. And so all that talk's gone away.
Yeah.
He clarified everything perfectly. John Farrell had to eat his words a little bit.
Yeah.
Look, Swihart had a hell of a rookie year last year.
He sure did.
The second half of his year up, he was hitting 300.
Once he got his feet on the ground,
Yeah, and he is not bad behind the plate. Okay, he doesn't frame pitches as well. Maybe his arm isn't as good.
Right.
But he still threw out runners, and he is speedy for a catcher. So much so that they've talked about third base for him. They really feel that he's that kind of an athlete. They could move him around. So you got Swihart, you got Vasquez, and then you got down at Pawtucket. Well, no, what the heck is the name of the other catcher? Ryan Hinnigan.
Hannigan's still around, right? Local
He's
boy.
still around.
Yeah.
And he's strong defensively.
He's adequate backup type catcher.
They got Sandy Leone, who they released, blah, 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 then re-signed to, they pay.
No offense, but solid defensively.
They paid the Paw Sox kids make $80,000, let's say, as an average. Yeah. They signed Leone to $180 for next year.
Huh.
They wanted him.
That's interesting.
Yeah. And if you take all of that and you add one more factor to it, they picked Dan Butler off the scrap heap. Now, they had him down at Pawtucket for 3 years. He's okay defensively, doesn't hit a lot, but he's good defensively, and they got him at spring training. I think Dan will probably find himself released when Vasquez's arm proves to be okay.
Yeah.
But if Vasquez has to go on the DL, well, it'll be Leone and Butler down there and Hannigan and Swihart up here.
One of the options they could have if an opportunity presents itself is to use if you want to trade one of those catchers, use that as an opportunity to get rid of either Sandoval or Ramirez. If you want the catcher, you got to take one of those guys.
Hannigan would be an attractive guy as a backup catcher.
I don't think you could do it with Hannigan. I think you'd have to do it with either Swihart or Vasquez.
Well, I'm not going to trade Swihart.
I'm not either.
No. So it would be Vasquez.
It would be Vasquez.
That would go. If he's strong in spring training, they send him down to AAA and there's nothing wrong.
Right.
And they keep Danny Butler around, which I think they will. I said, they could release him, but the more I think about that, I think that he'll probably be a DH down there and play once a week or something. Because if they do move Hannigan or Vasquez, Butler would be that insurance policy,
Yeah. I think if they were really dead, this whole thing blows up and they just feel that they're at the point that they have to get rid of those two guys. I just don't see anybody trading for Sandoval. Why would you, right? Even if they're going to eat some of the contracts. So that's why I think, honestly, if you really had to get rid of them, you got to release one of them, and it might be cheaper to release Ramirez, but then you got to get somebody to take the other one, and you might have to give up one or two of your prospects who you don't really want to give up.
I know.
But that would be the price of getting somebody to take that player and contract off your hands. And you know what? It might be worth it to you.
I think it would be. It would certainly clarify the pecking order.
Right.
And you don't want
And it would make a statement to the team.
It would. It would say
not
we're
going to tolerate
serious.
this crap.
That's right.
Yeah.
Charrington is teaching school someplace.
That's good.
And that's where he's...
That's good.
Yeah.
He got taken to school last year.
Oh, boy, did he ever. Well, I like to, when I'm messing around during the day, I go here, go there, on errands and stuff. I usually have the radio on in the car, and I want to make sure I'm up on the weather. And then I listen to the sports talk.
Sure.
The Legion of the Miserable. Mm-hmm. For 2 days, they didn't talk about sports. The life and loves of John Farrell.
Yes, yeah, I know.
And for you folks at home that have been living in a cave or have just somehow or other missed this, John Farrell and his wife, the Red Sox manager, they're separated and headed for Divorce City.
Right.
And John Farrell is camping, shall we say, with a young lady that is a sportscaster on Comcast.
Comcast Sportsnet, yes, Jessica Moran.
Jessica Moran.
Yeah.
And Jessica felt some pressure, and she resigned from Comcast.
Right.
And might be too early to send them wedding presents, but I think they're honeymooning before the wedding, maybe.
Well, apparently this has been going on for a couple of years.
2 years, yeah.
Yeah, he's just now getting around to
Yeah,
getting
I guess
divorced.
it was no secret to the insiders.
Right.
Yeah.
And, they, what can the organization really say? What can John Henry really say? When John Henry bought the Red Sox, he had a family. He ended up
divorced and for his trophy wife.
Married a little trophy wife.
Yeah.
Larry Lucchino did the same thing.
He did.
Yeah.
How about Dave Dombrowski?
Dave Dombrowski
He
did
married
the
a
same
sports reporter, Terry Ross, while he was the Marlins GM.
What are they really going to say?
They can't say anything except what a waste of hot air.
There's such a moral bunch down there.
Do you listen to EEI or sports?
When I can, yeah, sure.
The Big O is back.
Yeah, it's
from 10 to 2.
I've noticed that. Yeah,
and it just rekindles all the hate that I've had from him for so long. I can't stand the guy. And now he's back haunting the airwaves again. John Farrell.
Yeah. One good year.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, going back to communicating. Dumb moves to say, hey, Chris Young is going to play in every game in spring training. Well, JBJ, Holt, Castillo, Shaw, none of them are happy over that little pronouncement.
Right.
Why did he think he needed to say that?
Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. I've always liked Young, and I was actually happy when they signed him.
Yeah, he's not a bad ball player.
No, as a fourth outfielder, though.
I guess he's a good
guy. But a
guy.
fourth outfielder who ends up with 300 plus at bats. I mean, he can play. I'm not sure he's as good as he was when he was young, but when he was young, he was a very good defensive player.
There's nothing wrong with him as a ball player.
And he could hit.
Yeah. He can hit left-handers.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
He's not
the
Joe
right-handers
DiMaggio,
bedevil him.
Right.
But then the Red Sox go out and invite David Murphy to spring training.
Yeah.
David Murphy is a decent hitter.
Right.
Not a great outfielder, but he's a decent hitter, and he won't embarrass you. They could play him in left field, and
left-handed
there wouldn't be a
hitter,
problem.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A slap hitter.
Yeah.
But
for depth.
You know what?
You need some depth.
Oh yeah. Just wondering if his stats are in here. No, they're not. But it seems to me his lifetime average is maybe 270.
Maybe.
Yeah. And he's had 12, 15 home runs when he got to play semi-regularly down there for Texas.
Yeah.
I mean, this is not a bad ball player.
No, as a backup, yeah. In the mix.
But you got Young. And you got...
you're going to carry 5 outfielders.
JBJ and...
yeah.
So the Hanley experiment's over?
Yeah. You're going to carry 5, and you need a little depth in the organization, so...
I got some other names for you.
Okay.
Alan Craig.
Yeah. Most highly paid AAA player ever, probably.
He's got 21 mil still on the books.
Right.
2 years.
2 years left.
Yeah, 11 and 10.
Right. How we doing?
He's in spring training. He went out for 2 yesterday.
Yeah, you wonder why you never hear from the guy, but you know what? He's making $21 million over the next 2 years. And he probably made another 10 last year, right?
Oh yeah.
So he's going to make $30 million for playing in Pawtucket.
I think his pay was 9, 10, 11. So this is the year he's at 10. Next year it'll be 11.
Yeah.
21 million still on the books. Here's a guy that was the best clutch hitter in the National League.
I know it. Fell off a cliff when he came here.
Yeah, what did he get, anti-hit venom or something?
He's another one, though, that if you were willing to eat half his salary, you couldn't move him back to a National League team.
I've got to believe that they've sung that song to people.
Yeah. But apparently not.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I've got to believe they've tried to move him, though.
Well, yeah.
But the thing is, they can't get him going down at Pawtucket. And they stick him in the lineup 2 nights out of 3.
Right.
And he still doesn't get it going,
Right.
I think he hit 275 last year down at Pawtucket.
Yeah, I think he personally is resigned to the fact that his major league career is over, and he's okay with it because he's going to live in Pawtucket in the Rhode Island area, which isn't terrible in the summer, and he's going to make $21 million the next 2 years. What's so bad about that?
I mean, if he goes to work in his father-in-law's package store in Sheboygan, Wisconsin, he's only going to make himself $50 grand a year.
Yeah.
No matter how generous the father-in-law is.
It's a short drive to the beach on off days, too.
That's right.
Yeah.
Koji Uehara.
Yeah, I guess he's doing okay so far, right?
Yeah. 40 years old.
So, yeah.
And he's very happy to be a
setup guy.
Setup guy. Jackie Bradley Jr. The thing about Koji Uehara, too, I guess he's been told that if Craig Kimbrel gets the flu or something, and is sidelined for a week or something, Koji moves into the
He's the backup closer.
Yeah,
that probably makes sense.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah.
You know, until Uehara broke his wrist or whatever the hell he did last year, he was
fine.
He was cruising for another great year.
Yeah. I like, they've added a little depth to the bullpen as well.
Well, they certainly have.
Well, look, with Kimbrel and the other kid there, the righty that they got from San Diego, who supposedly the scouts love.
Carson Smith.
Yeah.
Now, why would you love a guy with an earned run average of 2.31 who struck out 92 guys in 70 innings?
There you go.
And is a sidearm. Death to right-handers.
Death to righties. So, and that's the one area that I was still hoping they might fortify a little bit was left-handed relief, and they really didn't. They're bringing back the guys from last year. Who,
Listen, Tommy Lane's all right if you just let him pitch to left-handers, but he gets killed when he pitches to right-handers.
Yeah.
I skipped somebody.
But can you imagine this team, this rotation, and this bullpen now with Carson Smith and Kimbrel and Andrew Miller? If we had kept Andrew Miller as the lefty. I mean,
I loved Andrew Miller.
That would be a dominant bullpen. It would be a dominant bullpen.
Would it ever?
Yeah.
I mean, that would go down as one of the great bullpens of all times. Xander Bogaerts. Under our control through 2019.
Right.
Wouldn't it be great? Yeah.
Scott Boras.
Wouldn't it be great to sign him to an extension? But Scott Boras, he's the kiss of death.
Yeah.
Do you look at Bogart a couple of years downstream and trade him for a king's ransom?
Well, if you are convinced that Boras is taking him to free agency, then you probably do.
I really think.
And to get the maximum, I think you trade him when he's got 2 years left.
I think so too. Yeah, I agree. I agree totally with you.
But it's early enough that, and it's not unprecedented with Boras that you could sign him to a long-term contract right now and basically buy out maybe 1 year, maybe 2 years of free agency.
Yeah, but those would they would be expensive. But
it would be expensive.
Kid could be that kind of player.
Right.
Now,
and I think their approach is let's wait another year and make sure.
Let's see if he
franchise
fills out a little bit.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I think eventually he's going to be hitting homers in the 20s.
Do you think that he eventually is going to be over at third base or over at first base?
I don't know. I thought he did a pretty good job in the field last year.
Yeah. At 6'3", I think he is.
They've got I don't recall the names, to be honest, but they've got a couple of talented middle infielders coming through the minors.
They do.
Right?
They absolutely.
One is Yokanda.
Yeah. Johan Moncada.
Right.
Yeah.
Who's currently playing second base.
The other one is a kid I love, by the way. Marco Hernandez. Down at Pawtucket. At Portland. Okay, 282 at bats. Batted .326. And had 5 home runs. They brought him up to Pawtucket, and he batted .271 in 181 games, had 4 home runs. He hits line drives, and he's not some little skinny kid. I mean, he looks to be 6'1" or so, but can he field?
Yeah.
And line drives. I
like the defense. If these. But Portland, he's probably a year or two away, isn't he?
Well, he was AAA last year. He'll be down at Pawtucket. Yeah, we'll see him. We'll see Sam Travis. We may even see Biendetto there, or whatever the hell his name is.
The outfielder?
Yeah, he's now on the 40
Number one pick a couple of years back,
yep.
right? Yeah.
LSU.
High number one pick.
Yes, no, 7th overall.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mookie Betts.
Yeah, gotta love the kid.
I love him. Why can't he stay in center field?
Because Jackie Bradley Jr. is better in center field.
Is Jackie Bradley Jr. a better right fielder than Betts is?
He is a generational defensive outfielder, in my view.
Yeah.
I think he is just defensively.
Right. Scale of 0 to 100. He's 100.
An entire generation.
Okay, he's 100. Yeah. Where's Betts?
Betts is probably 90, 91, 92.
Yeah.
But right field in Fenway is no walk in the park either.
No, it's not, and that's why I'm thinking Bradley should be over there.
I think you put your best defender in center.
I know. Oh, and by the way, Jackie Bradley, I'm not saying anything negative about him. He is possibly the most instinctive center fielder I think I've ever seen. And he's got an arm that looks like a cannon.
It is a cannon.
But speaking of that, Rusney Castillo has got one too.
Right.
Oh, what an arm he has.
So if he develops like they hope, and we could have the best defensive outfield in the game.
Yeah.
If you want to help your pitching staff, have the best defensive outfield in the game. Guess what? All of a sudden your pitching staff's better. What do you know?
Yeah. How about putting Travis Shaw over at first base, and we won't have all those balls getting by the first basemen that are in the dirt?
Yeah.
That's a major move.
I think it's going to happen. The only question is, do we have to wait for John Farrell to be fired for that to happen?
I suspect that if Johnny Boy flops,
slow start. See you later, right?
Yeah. I really and truly think so. I think Torey Lavala will be standing in the background clearing his throat.
Yeah. What if they're 20-20?
He could go.
Yeah.
Because everybody is saying this is the team that's headed for the World Series. What the devil's going on?
Yeah.
I would be quick to pull the trigger, I'll tell you that.
Yeah. There's a lot of pressure to get off to it.
One other name, Craig Kimbrel.
Yeah.
I don't think there's 10 people in New England, well, there's some, that understand how good this guy is.
Amazing if you look at his career stats. Look at his strikeouts per innings pitched.
Look at the guys with the most saves from 2011 to 2015. Guess who's number one? Kimbrel, 224 saves. Guess who's next? Houston Street, 166. Papelbon, 161. Fernando Rodney, 152. And Aroldis Chapman, 146. That's a heck of a drop-off from Kimbrel.
Yeah. Take a look at his strikeouts per innings pitched. Even last year. Now, last year was supposed to be kind of an off year for him, right? Because his ERA was only in the low twos or something.
Yeah, 258.
258. But he still struck out a ton of guys.
87 in 59.1 innings.
Yeah, 87 in 59.1 innings. That's a dominant guy.
Yeah, I tell you, they've done a good job with this bullpen.
I think they have.
They really and truly have. When a guy like Stephen Wright may not be able to find a job.
Can't break through anywhere.
No.
Yeah.
I would love to see them trade Stephen Wright, because Stephen Wright's a fairly decent guy. I met him down there, and, he's a nice guy. Mm-hmm. He deserves a chance to play in the majors.
Yeah. You think somebody could use him? Milwaukee. Somebody that doesn't have, not a big market team, but somebody, you could pay him a little bit of money and get some production.
Absolutely. I don't think we'll get going on Goose Gossage.
No, it's best.
We'll let that one sit.
Best to ignore him.
I don't think what he said was so bad, by the way.
No, I don't either, but.
No time to be patient. Manager vows change in style. I'll believe that when I see it. What do you say? Oh.
It's wins and losses. It's simple. It's not style. It's not, who you're screwing around with. It's wins and losses.
Yeah,
period.
That's it.
You win, you stay. You lose, you're gone.
The Bruins.
Yeah.
Now, the beat writer for one of the beat writers in the Herald said the Bruins are now one of the top echelon teams in the National Hockey League.
I think that's a little much.
I think it's quite a bit much.
Yeah.
They had the good streak there, 7 points out of 8, but
they've been playing well since the deadline. And then I got to admit, the guys that they brought in, Stepniak and Lyle, have been a pleasant surprise.
Pleasant, but Lyle made a couple of mistakes.
Well, he did, but you knew what you were getting. You were getting Lyle.
35 years old.
Right, journeyman.
Yep.
But he's played okay, and that's a bit of an indictment on the defense, quite frankly.
It sure is.
He's actually been an improvement over what we had, because Dennis Seidenberg has just lost it. He is just gone.
That is scary.
I don't like their chances.
No. Well, neither does Las Vegas. The Washington Caps put up 100 to win 375 that they will win the Stanley Cup.
Mm-hmm.
Put up 100 and the Bruins are $2,200. They are 13th. Now, folks, let me tell you, I put a lot of faith in those guys out in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
They know what they're doing.
They're
not in business to lose money.
But second is the Blackhawks.
The Blackhawks are second at 500. The Ducks 900. The Stars 1,000, and then it just drops off from there. Yeah.
So Chicago Capitals finals.
I think so.
I think so too.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Frank Vetrano is down to Providence.
Yeah.
21 years old. First year in hockey. 28 games, he has 29 goals. 12 assists, 41 points. Down there, Seth Griffith has played all the games down there. Second in the league in scoring. He's 22 years old. 20 goals, 43 assists, 63 points. They bring up this kid, Accardi.
Yeah.
Who wasn't even drafted. Well, he's good on face-offs and all of that.
Yeah.
Our coach, Claude Julien, will not allow these offensive players to come up. He wants them to be 28 years old before he'll allow them to come up.
Yeah.
In the meantime, these two kids can score. I don't know. I don't understand it. But the Bruins are playing well, but they played a stinker last night.
Yeah. Their defense is just substandard.
Yeah,
for a contender.
Seidenberg is
all
done.
Terrible. He's done.
Yep. And as far as Z is concerned, Chara, Red Auerbach always said, get rid of them a year early rather than a year late.
That's what Bill Belichick does too.
Yeah, and let me tell you, they should have done that with the big Z.
I think that when you look at, I don't think they're going to win this year, and when you look towards next year, I think they really need to add probably 3 defensemen in the offseason.
Yeah.
They really do.
I mean,
3 NHL, and hopefully a couple of them are a top 2 team, because they don't have a top 2 defenseman right now on the whole team.
Yeah, they don't. You're absolutely right. It's very frustrating to watch.
It is very frustrating.
Yeah. But then there are other games when they play really well.
Right.
Go figure. Folks, we've got the signal that it is time to say goodnight. We thank you so much for tuning in.
Yeah, it was fun, as usual.
And we'll be back because we've got to talk more about the Bruins and the Celtics
and the playoffs
and the Red Sox.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
The full boat.
It's Boston.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we promise we'll keep you guys informed.
Great.
And on that note, good night.
Night.
Bingo.